Welcome back to Midpoint. A former Justice Department attorney and founder of Judicial Watch and Freedom Watch, Larry Klayman, is joining us. Let's talk about Cuba. Really interesting quote that our staff dug out. Obama only wishes he could move our nation even further to the left, you write, Cuban style. The Castro brothers and Obama have a not too latent kinship. It's outrageous, and this deal proves it. Do you really equate President Obama with the Castro brothers?
I do. I believe that President Obama, we've watched him over 6 years. Now even the Hollywood leftist elite, particularly the Jewish community, is starting to turn against him. They see that he's very destructive, and he's more socialist than he even portrayed himself as. I believe that he does have that kinship with Castro. Why would you open up relations at a time when these two dictators, who are a smaller version of Adolf Hitler, who have just massacred their people over the years, and I've represented a number of victims. We can talk about that if we have time. Why would you open up relations before they're gone? And why would you do it without the precondition that Cuba have free elections that are monitored by independent experts? And why would you do it before the Castros were forced to step down? It's obviously because this president has a kinship with the Castro brothers. He would like, in my view, to see this country go even further left. He feels comfortable with them. He did the same with Hugo Chavez of Venezuela when he shook Chavez's hand a number of years ago. And we see his leftist leanings in other areas as well, whether it's the Middle East with socialist regimes like Iran, which are basically socialist, and others. This president is a socialist, and I believe is a borderline communist.
6 years in the White House, though, and tax has been increased to 39.6% for the highest income bracket. But other than that, what other socialist specific laws has he passed that really prove your point that he is, in concert with the Castro brothers?
You can talk about taxes. Taxes are still way too high. We're experiencing 5% growth now only because the price of oil has plummeted and because of other factors which are probably temporary. But if he had cut taxes, can you imagine how prosperous this country would be given the rest of the world? If you're talking about income equality all the time, that's what he's talking about. He believes in his heart, he sees everything in terms of race and religion. And in my view, and this may sound harsh, but I think people are starting to believe it, is that he believes that this country had to pay back for years of invidious discrimination to African Americans. And it was terrible discrimination, I agree. But he has dismantled this country in many ways as a payback. And also with the Muslim world. He's bent over backwards. He doesn't like Israel. He's done everything he can to harm them. And I'm going to be doing a Hollywood tribute to Israel, something that I really want to bring about. And I don't mean this in a racial way, but all of us are equal. We're all the same. And he favors what he considers to be his people over everybody else. It wasn't right when white people did it to African Americans. It's not right that he's now doing it to others in this country.
Let's get back to the taxes. Corporate taxes, business taxes are high here in the United States, but we're still the largest economy in the entire world. What would you do as the Senate is going to take over, Republicans are going to take over the Senate? What can be done from the congressional standpoint to try to maybe ease some of those tax regulations or restrictions on corporate entities?
Well, you got to lower the tax rate. Look at Florida. There's no personal income tax here. Look at how people want to come here and settle here. Florida's on its way back. It has a potential presidential candidate in Jeb Bush who's quite popular in the Republican Party because he helped cut taxes. Right across the board, you have to cut it. I mean, go to a flat tax or whatever, but we've got to cut it, we've got to simplify it, and if we did that, we would regain tremendous economic power. We would swamp even China in terms of growth. But he doesn't want to do that, and of course, as a conservative and libertarian, I don't believe government knows how to spend money. So even if they're raising the money, it's not being spent properly. Our government in D.C. feathers its own nest. It's largely corrupt. Look at John Boehner, who goes along with, Speaker of the House, Republican, goes along with the Democrats. Let's make a bigger pie. We'll divide it up and we'll all go home rich. And that's what it's about. The American people suffer. The middle class suffers because they don't get the benefit of the current tax deductions that we have. They don't make enough. It comes right out of their salary. It's killing this country.
Well, the lower class and the middle class haven't really taken advantage of this recent recovery. How can we bring people up in those different income brackets, the middle class? How can we get them and stimulated in this economy?
Well, first of all, we've got to educate them. Our educational system is not very good, to put it mildly. We need to educate them on American values, too. That's part of the problem with all these illegal immigrants running around, because they don't know what it is to be an American, nor do a lot of our kids, who are born here. But education's important. But also giving them opportunity, empowering people, giving them the ability to make it for themselves, not giving them handouts that we're doing currently. People have to roll up their sleeves and get to work. And there are a number of people in the African American community, my friends, Alan Keyes, Armstrong Williams, Dr. Carson. He's not a friend, but I admire what he has to say. And these people are telling lower income people, including their own group of African Americans, it's time to roll up your sleeves and get to work, not to depend on the government, because if you do, it's one way, downhill.
All right, Larry Klayman, the leading voice on the right. Thank you so much for being right here
You're
on
welcome.
Midpoint.
Great.
We're coming right back on Newsmax TV.